I'm here to read poems from Until the Lions, which was a reworking of the Mahabharata in 19 voices, which I did a few years ago. And for the first part of the reading, you're just going to hear me all alone. And then we're going to end with a duet, which Rahul Soni has very kindly agreed to accompany me. Rahul is, as was mentioned in the introduction, editor, translator, poet himself, but also very importantly for me, a Sangam House comrade. And one of the reasons this book is thanks to a residency from Sangam House, which for a lot of writers at this festival and from all around the world is one of the best things about Bangalore. It's a fabulous writer's residency, not too far away from here. I'm going to begin with the anonymous voices which mark the book at several junctures. They're a series called Constancy, and they're in the voices of the spouses and the lovers of the soldiers who are going to die in the war. Before a battle, grow inwards like root and rock. Shed eyes, ears, shed words. Let us speak, your skin to mine. Touch alone scores memory. Touch alone will survive time. And now for a very identifiable voice. This is Satyavati. And in my telling, Satyavati, mother of Vyasa, takes over the narrative. She holds the vertebra of the book, so to say, or she is the spinal column of the book. Hers is the voice that we hear telling the various chapters of the story. It's a series called Fault Lines. Listen, listen, this neither begins nor ends with me, not such a hate cascading down time, crossing sea and sky and continent, a hate that sails beside friendship, love, fealty, so many skiffs. I could not say where it began, perhaps only the stars can, for beginnings come clothed in mist. There are many who will claim to know, Vyasa foremost, but even saintly bards, especially when sons, don't allow tales to travel unadorned. And so I must uncage the quieter lore, let them wander, rags and slander notwithstanding. There may be rhyme, but not much reason, little meter, but both stress and distress. This is not the whole story, nor a lyrical history of mankind. It is what I know to be mine, true or nearly so, for truth is a beast more wayward than time. This is a poem in twin voices again. It's Amba and Shikhandi, so two bodies who are inhabited by the same soul. Amba, who is remembering the humiliation, the years of sacrifice and penance and demand that she made of the universe, of the gods, so that she could gain justice. And interspersed with that, in answer to that, Shikhandi, who is her own soul reborn, transformed into a man, who is now claiming that justice and has become an instrument of war. It's a poem called Manual for Revenge and Remembrance. 5. For it is time, for it is I. The two stories you cannot flee, we are your death and destiny. For this time, I shall battle you unfettered, free of my female frame, free as the primeval seas. For this time, I traverse death and rebirth and beg manliness from a yaksha, nameless tree sprite, lord of the night. This time there'll be no debris of woman in me. My head grows sunwards, my knees and back hard, unbending. The voice unreels into bark. I scour softness, Scrub grace from the skin till what glows is pure steel. Unfurl my womb and fly it, dripping rust as pennant, perhaps shroud. Then peel and burn the breasts. This time we meet, neither shall win, for I will slay you, but first you shall watch me die. So begin, begin to begin, begin to end. March arm in arm with death towards your vengeance, the vengeance you nursed like a firstborn. Name and number the iniquities of the enemy. Nail grief, needle wrath, narrow its gaze on that single being. Obliterate all others for practice, warriors, archers, charioteers. Order your army to excess. Overrule elders, counselors, judge and jury, outlaw poets and peacekeepers. Pursue dharma, but at casual pace. Persecute those dearest to the foe. Plague him till he prevails. Prepare to see present and future quashed, nephews, fathers, sons, quartered. The women questing for lost kin. Quiesce and quaff your impending victory, your irrevocable loss. Revel in its flavor. Recall that thirst. Resurrect the lost years, the yearning. Release yourself from oath and loathing. Sound the kettle drums, the conscious, salute the foe, and strike. Strike that spear through gullet and lung and ligament. Shatter his skull. Shred might and thought, and right and thought to blood, bone, gristle. Snuff out your soul. Triumph. There's this thing, though, about the need for justice and how close it can be to vengeance, and how vengeance or the desire for vengeance and hatred take over our lives. The story of Drupad is unfortunately one of that, and one that looms over the Mahabharata. Drupad, who creates 3 children for the sole purpose of vengeance. The next poem is in the voice of his wife, Drupad's wife, Queen of Panchala, mother of Shikhandi, Draupadi, and Drishtadyumna, and throughout the Mahabharata, a woman without a name. She is a witness to what it is to raise your children with anger, with hatred, as instruments to kill an enemy. We're in an age when we're surrounded by anger. So this poem, which is called Sustenance. Anger. We eat anger at each meal, night and noon. Mostly Drupad, monarch of Panchal, and our 3 children, though I have to swallow my share too, this is a staple. Anger. The shoots burgeon. It grows, unfurling fibrous, sightless roots through castle walls, through words, veins, and arteries. The leaves cover rooftops and thoughts. They color tongues. For Drupad has raised our children, Shikhandi, Bhishma's nemesis, Drishtadyumna and Draupadi, fire-born twins, seraphs, slayers, as battlements, as lethal weapons. Words transform flesh, marrow, and bone into granite, iron. Words forged our children, not words like love, hope, laughter, desire. No, those belong to foreign lands, to alien tongues. The words that alloyed them, smelted heroes, now dwell in granite bones. Honor, rage, revenge, and purpose, cold, polite, unfailing, that estrange even my aching mother's heart. For they were never mine, these brands from Drupad's inferno, fury that first engulfed his soul, now all of Panchal, not mine. Even young, they had suckled paternal dreams. For dreams seep into neighboring heads, theirs traverse my own each night. Drupad's dreams, where enemies stand crowned in shame, where blood and breath turn black and tidal rocks tear down skies. While Shikhandi, whom I had borne as a bubble beneath my breasts through 9 months of eternity, dreams yet again of the horrors of a past, of future terrors. In these dreams, Shikhandi crushes both breasts and unwraps sinewed legs, casts shoulder and pelvis in male mold, then carves muscles till they shine. Bronzed, blood-soaked, a warrior's shield. Is that past or future? He slips into Bhishma's sleep, a land he has owned for 36,000 nights and days. Honor lies in wait, a quivering, tongueless wild beast. For they who've never tasted love cannot know hate. And Shikhandi has hated longer and better than most on earth. He borrows rage from the sun, endurance from stars. Hate is thus, said Shikhandi once. I become my bane, unthinking, uncontained flame, eager to blight. He becomes me, he longs to die. Till we meet, both wander twilight. Drishta and Draupadi too dream, though theirs is hate inherited, its contours blurred, origin roiled in the story they've learnt by rote. For hate can outgrow memory. For Drupad will never recall his own youthful pride, the malice, careless, towards Drona which spurred abject disgrace at his playmates' hands, a disgrace now made blazon. For stories half true can unleash much power, much more when retold. Drupad erased the preamble and part one of shared history, childhood, oath, kingship, reunion. He closes his eyes, wills away that far-off day in Kampilya's court when he denied Drona's words and smashed a sacred pledge. The first betrayal, the one that birthed war. Betrayal in Drupad's readings will remain one-sided. Drona had no cause to attack Panchal. Hadn't he offered arms as kings ought? How could a sage ask for more? I could forgive my king even this sad guile, would he not dispatch Drishta to Drona's hermitage, to master the divine astras, to plan future near patricide. Perfidy that will tear the boy. Almond-eyed Drishta who aspires to honor and morality. Mythical beasts in our royal household. He will learn in distress. And Draupadi, fire maiden, gift of the gods that Drupad dared not return, though he saw no use first for a mere woman in his grand ballet of vengeance. What of her? What solace can I give her, she who is earth's anthem, whose learning rivals that of seven seers, whose speech is scimitar and yet full moon, she who will be cast as bait? What solace could I give her, she who must survive, she who will face dishonor, death, and worse by far, dissolution? Who learn how difficult it becomes to die? The strangled hold of fatherhood will prevail. Mothers will weep stones. Grey is the night, grey is this land's belt, grey our blood that flows beneath. We replay our stories, our sins. No mother should have to set flame to her sons. No, no mother should outlive her blood. I will. I will. The heart has no bones to shatter. It will keep beating just the same. Thank you. This is our last poem, the one together. It's again a constancy poem, and it's between a soldier and the lover, the spouse. Constancy 5. What more is there to say?
We breathe, We act, we live until we die.
There will be more,
There may always be more.
more thought,
More hope,
more prayer, more pleas,
more planets and comets,
more orbits for moons,
more oceans,
with mountains,
more scree,
more rage in the rivers, more livid fear,
more waves, more trees, more lore,
more birds, more arms, their feet.
more beckoning shores, and yet,
And yet,
more is not enough.
never nearly enough to hold this day in the heart of a palm,
To lull today to safety, to stillness,
for time does not snag between our lips,
for thought just weighs a syllable,
for hope leaves no contrails,
for prayers deliquesce, for pleas leave no ashes,
for comets care little for you or me,
for orbits have no desire, for moons are lighted shadows,
for oceans cannot impale red stars,
for no mountains could halt today, for rivers will not rise to snare the sun,
for trees hurl no branches to tangle the moon,
for birds will founder, and arms and legs do tire,
for no waves stifle divine decrees, for the lore always lies.
for the song must end for this day.
This one last day,
Before the battle must blaze white and die,
with its colors like ours, falling sideways,
shredding dry seas with rain, staining indigo earth once again.
for night flows like sand, for night catches like wildfire.
For this night is a beast, 3 lungs, 2 throats, a belly with barbels, but no eyes nor ears and never skin.
Its throat spewing anthems of unreason,
For this night, tonight, churns living metal, mineral souls, old blood.
for the battle begins in the night of our dreams,
For all that is left
for all that is left to sight, to claim, to own,
is a distant shore of yesterday. All that is left to touch, to trace, to memorize.
is the tattoo of my breath on your brow.
For until we die, we live, we love, we kill.
And there is little more to say.